Hi all, thank you for taking the time to watch this pre-recorded lecture video. This is a small part of our bigger PowerPoint presentation on OTs Lens for Understanding Autism. There are two pre-recorded lecture videos. I will be going over the first video and a colleague of mine will be going over the second video. So don't forget to watch the second one after this one. What is OT? OT stands for occupational therapy, and it's a health profession that is aimed to enable people to live their life to the fullest through engaging in ordinary and extraordinary activities that they want or need to do, no matter what illness, injury, conditions, disabilities, lifestyle, or environmental barriers that stand in the way. So occupations is a huge part of our profession. It's in our name, occupational therapy. And what occupations mean in our lens are everyday activities that are meaningful to us, that occupy our lives. Participating in occupation is so important because it supports our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. Some examples of occupations are bathing, toileting, cooking, work or leisure activities. And these are just a few of the many occupations out there. And it's also really dependent on the individual as well. So the goal of occupational therapists is to help clients to perform or modify or adapt their skills and activities in order to lead to healthier, happier, and more productive lives. So I have an example of what OTs do, just to piece together all that information in the previous slide. An individual with ASD has difficulty playing Monopoly with their peers due to weak strength and coordination in their hands. OTs will help strengthen their muscles and increase coordination, or they will modify challenging components of Monopoly to enable participation. So hopefully this example kind of pieces together the information better for you. And I also want to note that this is just one of the many different populations that occupational therapists work with. So just be mindful of that. OT's role in autism. So children and adolescents with ASD, what OTs do with these individuals, they usually focus on play skills, learning strategies, successful academic and peer engagement, self-care, and they also help manage sensory challenges. By working on these areas, we are helping them improve their ability to self-regulate their emotions and participate in their occupations. So children with autism grow up to be adults with autism who need and want to develop skills required to engage in adult occupations. So when we're transitioning into adulthood, some of the common occupations can be things like wanting to apply for a job or wanting to move out of your parents' house, learning how to drive, or even purchasing a car. These are the different transitional areas that OTs can help adult ASD individuals be able to engage in their occupations. And OT is foundational for developing skills for participation in life activities for individuals across the spectrum at all ages by supporting strengths and overcoming their limitations. I do want to note that with ASD, there are more boys who are diagnosed with this disorder because their symptoms are more quote unquote classically autistic than girls are. So this means that girls are overlooked, and this results in girls being underdiagnosed. It's just something to keep note of. So there are different models and frameworks that occupational therapists use to guide their interventions. PEO, we have social model of disability, and then we have sensory processing. I want to mention that sensory processing is going to be in a different video, in the second video. There's a lot of information for sensory processing, so we have to make a different video all about that. So we'll be going more in depth about the PEO model and the social model of disability. PEO, so the P stands for the person, and they are the unique being whom holds multiple changing roles that bring life experiences and skills to influence occupational performance. The E stands for the environment, and this is the context which occupation takes place for a specific client. And then we have the O, which stands for occupation. No surprise here. I think by now, or at least I hope by now, you have a better understanding of occupation. But just to define it again, occupation is the meaningful everyday activities. And so the PEO is a holistic perspective in which the focus is on adapting the environment or adapting the occupation so that it best fits the person. In other words, the PEO model really focuses on changing the environment and the occupation and not so much the person. We don't want to change a person who has these impairments because it's just a part of who they are. So we really want to keep the person as they are, their unique being. So this is what the PEO model really focuses on. And so when we are able to create, change the environment and the occupation that best fits the person, this will lead to a more enhanced occupational performance. And then we have the social model of disability. And the social model of disability believes that disability is an interaction between the person and the environment. And what they're saying is that disability isn't due to an impairment. And we'll go more into details about what disability versus impairment is in the next slide. But I will click on this video on every vacation. And this video, it's fairly short. I'm just going to show a short clip of it, but it's going to explain the social model of disability for us.
At a verbal home, there's someone like you who reunited the
The more modern social model of disability says that a person doesn't have a disability, that they are disabled. They're disabled by society. It is the attitudes and physical barriers imposed on them by society that prevents them from achieving their potential. The social model.
Super short, but they were just reiterating what I was saying about that disability isn't due to their impairments, it's due to society. So in the next slide, we'll be going into impairment versus disability. So impairment is a defect of a limb organ or mechanism of the body, whereas disability is disadvantages or restrictions of an activity that's caused by contemporary social organizations, which takes no or little account of people who have physical impairments, in which they get excluded from society. So an example, an inability to walk is an impairment, whereas an inability to enter a building because the entrance is up a flight of stairs is a disability. So impairments can exist without disability. So an individual who is not able to walk an individual who's not able to enter into a building because of their impairment, what are some ways that we can include individuals with impairments without a disability? So an example can be including rails or ramps to a building, handicap parking, push buttons for doors or automatic sliding doors. There are so many different ways that we can be inclusive and help individuals with impairments be a part of our society. And so this will be the end of part 1 of the pre-lecture videos. There is a second one that will go into sensory processing. So please don't forget to watch that. Thank you so much.